So sometimes in research we can make the most advances by using techniques where they weren't originally intended to be used. And one specific technique that I have learned how to use is the recommender system information filtering model, which is something that online retailers use to say, if you like this item, you'd probably like this item as well, based on the data that other people have had based on their items that they liked that you guys shared in common. However, using it in an e-commerce retail sense isn't the only way that we can use this kind of filtering system. We can also use it in sociological problems, which is my background in sociological computing. So what we can do is, instead of matching users to items, we can match users to users, or in a broader sense, we can match people to people, groups to groups, societies to societies, and what else have you. So the way that we do that is we consider what is our metrics. So since we don't have items, we have to have some way to match people on. And what we do is we base people matched on their social norms, which are ways that we say, what rules of society do I follow and how do I do so? And if I don't do that, how am I sanctioned? So what we do is we can take a group of social norms that different groups have in common and then say, how similar are these groups adhering to certain social norms? And then what we can do on top of that is create a formula that can tell us specifically and numerically how similar those groups are. So what we can do is we can take the normative expectance rate, which is how likely it is that a group of population, what percentage will follow a group of norms. And on top of that, we can also take the normative ranking, which is how important is that norm in the society. For example, driving on the correct side of the road, probably rank number one because you've got to drive on the right side of the road. Walking on the right side of the sidewalk, people don't really care. Do what you want. And then what we do is we rank those, we order them, and then we take that multiplier of the rank, multiplied in relation to the percentage, add them all together, compare them with different societies, and that tells us for a large group of groups or societies or organizations, how similar are they. And what we do is we take a group of states data, so all of your different states, United States, contiguous United States, and we take their different perspectives on alcohol usage, which is collected through just simple statistical methods. And what we do is we look at that and we say which states are similar to each other and can we see any geographical trends in this data. So then what we do on top of that is we take a state, one state in particular as our control to compare to all the other states and say, is there some similarity around these regions? And so what we do is we take Wisconsin in our control example and then we run it through all the other states and we see that there's some interesting similarities. So we take Wisconsin, we find that the states such as Minnesota and those other northern Midwestern states have similar feelings about alcohol usage. In other regions of the country, such as the South, these areas seem to have similar perspectives about social norms involving things like alcohol and drug usage, which is very important because that shows that there might be some significance to this model. That's not the only application of this. You could apply this to any kind of social norm. That's one of many, and hopefully we'll expand on this further into the future as we continue to develop this model. Thank you.